welcome to Pawsitive Tales ELC Podcast. I'm Jennifer Riveros and I am so excited to introduce you to our assistant principal, Miss Meza. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Melissa Meza and I'm your assistant principal at Elizabeth Learning Center.
Okay, Miss. So I knew for Mr. Completo that you are a very enthusiastic reader.
Yes.
As a head start,
Yes.
let us know what is your favorite book.
So that's probably the most difficult question because I don't have one favorite book. I have a few that are recent favorites, and so I thought I would share about those books. So recently, books that have really impacted me and have become favorites that I've been recommending to people. The book Solito by Javier Zamora. That one really impacted me. His true story of, just hardship and overcoming, coming to this country as a young child. It was a very emotional story for me. And so that one is a recent favorite. So I recommend it to everybody. Another book that's fairly recent for me also is Educated by Tara Westover. And that one also impacted me because this young woman she fought so hard to get an education and she overcame also many barriers. You're going to notice some common themes here with the books that I'm sharing. And so that one is fairly new and also a recent favorite. One that came to mind when I reflected on this question is when I was younger and I read the book The Secret Life of Bees by Sue Monk Kidd. And that one just, broke my heart in a few chapters and also just, brought me a lot of joy. And so I remember that book very fondly. So I also recommend that book to anyone that'll listen to me give book recommendations.
That's so cool. So from what I'm hearing about your favorite books, you like books that are very strong in story, that tell a story from someone's perspective.
Yes, someone who maybe had a difficult situation or a difficult life and they're able to overcome it. And so yes, that's something common about me. I like characters that they face adversity, they're honest about their feelings, they show their weaknesses, their any type of challenge that they might have had that would have maybe broken any other person, but somehow they were able to move past, and they're honest about that journey. So I do appreciate, the vulnerability, and just the raw emotions. I really appreciate that when especially when someone is a really good writer and you can feel for them, even though it's not a true story. If you can feel the emotion, or if it makes you cry, or if it makes you think of something, it makes you connect with them, then it was written really well.
Has this type of books have been your favorite for always your favorite?
No, not always, and but I don't think I select books with that intention. I don't, but I always end up finding those books. I also like to read a lot of memoirs. So I'm fascinated with famous people like, political figures or even celebrities or, musicians. And I like to learn about their life. And so memoirs also are something that I like to read. And so you find out how they made it to where they are. And so a lot of what they tell is also hard situations, and then they come out on the other side. They become famous, or they find the love of music or art or whatever they want to do in their life.
Those type of books are really good for us as humans, because sometimes you can also relate to some of those situations, and you can be like, wow, this person did it, so I can do it too.
I can do it too.
Or it can motivate you, like if it's your dream to be a singer and you read about a singer and they have difficulties and you're like, oh my gosh, they also face through things that maybe I can face, but they did it.
Yeah.
And it can also help you have a lot of empathy.
Yes.
Empathy with people, and understand that everyone has a story whether it's someone of the past or someone in the present. Everyone has a story to share, and hardships that they overcome, and I think everyone should be praised for that.
Yes, and I think also we are connected. We have a lot of similarities. So you can read about someone that you think you have nothing in common with, and you'll find something that we all share because we're all human beings, or we all have, situations in life that we face that are similar. And, we're more similar than we are different, as a human race,
I think that's such a good message for everyone in the world. Now moving more for like your reading experience, for how long you have been reading? Reading.
Well, reading my whole life for sure. Since I was in elementary school, I've always enjoyed reading, but I think I became more of an avid reader in high school and in college. And I think that happened because I started to read things that I like, that I would choose. So I think it started late in high school, maybe early in college, where I got to find books that I would choose from the library or that I would buy for myself. This is around the time of like Barnes and Noble, and you could go and explore books that your school didn't have. So that I think that's where I became interested in books.
Oh, can you remember the first book that you read and make you wanna be an avid reader?
Oh.
Or it's just like a process that were
I think it
multiple...
was over time. I want to say one that was quite memorable for me was 1984. Reading that one, George Orwell. I didn't know that books could be that way, that they could make you think in that way, in the way that book made you think about the world. So that's like a memorable one for me.
It's a really good book. I've been waiting to read it. I love The Farm from Orwell too. So I've been waiting to buy that one.
Yeah.
It's a really good book. So what would you say that is your purpose in reading?
So for me, I read for self-care. I know when you're a student, it's work to read. It can be, sometimes. It can feel like work, right? Yeah, it can feel like work because it's an assignment. But once you have, like a full-time job like I do, and a very busy family, then when you have a moment to just stop, there's, how do you feel that space, that time? And for me, it's reading. So I do have a Kindle, and I read on my Kindle, so electronic books. I used to really like having the actual book, and I have boxes and boxes in my garage. But I moved over to having the e-readers, and they make life so easy because I can travel anywhere. I carry it in my purse. If I'm at a doctor's appointment, or if I'm in line somewhere and it's taking long, I have a few minutes, and I like to open it and read. I also just recently, in the last couple of years, am doing audiobooks. So I have a long drive, about an hour in the morning and an hour in the afternoon. And because I really enjoy stories, I like stories, then I'm like, that's 2 hours a day that I can get stories into my life. So I do audiobooks, and sometimes I'm doing one audiobook and a different book on my Kindle. And I'm enjoying two different stories at the same time. So definitely I'm with my audiobook in my car. Sometimes I go for walks and I listen to my audiobook as well, because I can't wait to hear the next chapter. So I do that with my earbuds when I take a walk around my neighborhood. But my routine is usually, when I'm done for the evening, like about 30 minutes or so before I go to bed, I start reading from my Kindle, and that helps me relax. So for me, it's self-care, and then I include it with my hobbies, like when I'm walking or working out.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
You bring up a very good point. That is that some people some people that are like, oh, you shouldn't read ebooks, it's not the same, or audiobooks is not the same as having the book in your hands and going through the pages and marking the pages, that type of stuff. But I do believe that audiobooks and ebooks are as important as the actual physical books.
Yes.
Of course, some people, if they enjoy the experience of having an actual book in their hands, it's completely fine. I am that type of person. But I understand that there's moments in life where you're way too busy, but you want to keep listening to something. And I love audiobooks too. They're so cool. And they allow you to do multiple things without having to be looking at a screen or looking at a book. Just listening to it while also having the story in your mind.
Yes.
So yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah, and you know what, they do take up a lot of space when you're traveling. So when I go somewhere and I'm reading a really thick book and maybe I'm almost finished and I want to take my next book, that's a lot of books to carry. So the e-reader is perfect. It fits in your purse very easily.
You're the type of reader that has like 3 books at the same time?
Yeah, sometimes I have to take a break from one and then move to another one, and I go back when I'm ready to finish. But it doesn't happen often. I find that I do that with books that frustrate me for different reasons. I'm frustrated with this story right now, so I need a break. And then I go to another story. I finish it, and then I come back. I give it another chance. Yeah. But I try to finish what I start. So even if I'm not really enjoying a story, then I'm gonna finish it. I might need a break from it, but I'll finish it.
I have exactly the same mindset with the books that I read, because I've been extending this book for like almost 6 months, but it's because it's just frustrating. It's what you say, it's frustrating. But my father is like, why don't you just like throw it away? If you're not gonna finish it, you're not reading it, you're not gonna finish it, you don't like the book, then why are you reading it? And I'm like, but it needs a chance.
You need to give it a chance.
What if it gets better later? Or even, I am a person that really values books that I don't like.
Yeah, they serve a purpose.
Exactly, like books that I have read and I'm like, I don't like this at all. But that helps you too. Like bad books are also important as good books.
Yes.
Not because they are not of your taste. It means that they are not good for a conversation. Or even if you just want to hate on a book, if you're like, I don't like this,
now you have something to say for someone who's asking for a recommendation. Now you have notes. Let me tell you what I liked, what I didn't like, or I would have written this differently, you know.
Exactly. And even if like, I know that I didn't like that book, but if I met someone and I'm like, you might like this book, I didn't like it, you might like it. So absolutely, giving a chance to a book is a perfect.
Not all books are for everyone.
Exactly. From what I have heard, you have read a lot of books in your life. What lessons do you think those books have give you?
Well, I mentioned a little bit earlier that I think that a lot of characters that I've read and fallen in love with in one way or another, you know, or admired, that we have a lot in common as human beings. Our experiences, they bond us. So when I'm reading about, for example, I mentioned the book Educated by Tara Westover, our lives are completely different, completely different. But along the way, she shares, you know, some challenges with her family. I can relate to challenges with a family, you know, or, you know, doubting yourself as a woman, you know, I can relate to that. So even though we've had different paths in lives, what I'm learning is, like I said, we have more in common than we do differences as human beings. And, you know, treating each other with kindness and with compassion, because we don't know what someone else is going through. Some people, especially, like I mentioned, the memoirs, successful people, we think they have everything perfect in life, but, you know, they got there, but they struggled first, you know, or maybe their life is not perfect. And so I think the lessons that I've learned is to be compassionate. Everyone has a story. on the outside things may look perfect, but they're not always perfect. And so I think we have more in common than we do differences. I also find that there's a lot of parallels, between life and fiction. I feel that a lot of the authors that I'm picking that to read their books, that they're writing from experience, or they're writing about people they know, or they're writing about topics or characters that they think people will relate to, and it makes it very appealing, to read, or very appealing to share, like you mentioned, the conversation, the recommendations. So I do find that authors know how to hook us, by creating characters or creating stories that will unite us, that will draw you in, So like you read the cover of the book on the back, and I think if it's written really, really well, and something catches your attention just on the back cover, then you'll pick up that book. Something in the description makes you think you're gonna enjoy the story, and a lot of it is just relating to one another. Like you want to feel connected. So, if the story seems to be about one of these things that I've mentioned, then I might pick it up. Even though that's all I pick up. I might pick it up again because I want to read about that, and I want to feel connected when I'm reading. I want to feel that when I'm reading, I can really absorb the story, really envision the story, like, again, that connectedness.
Yes, yeah. I can understand the point of reading being a connection. In literature and in history in general, books have been a way for humans to express themselves. It's just another art.
Yes.
And it's a very human thing. It's even if they're not writing for like the actual experience, if they're writing for someone else's point of view, that connects them, even if they're not the same person that they're writing about.
Yeah.
And it connects to someone that is the person that they're reading about. So reading is in fact connection, and it can also connect you to other people through like a favorite book, and you like that book too, and I like this book too, and it connects both of us because we like the same things. So I can understand how literature is connection.
Yeah, and so you mentioned Mr. Completo.
Yeah.
And so we jokingly say that we are our own book club. I usually recommend books, and it gives us something to talk about. So even if he hasn't read the book yet, I'd speak to him about the book that I'm reading, and he's listening to me with curiosity and asking me questions. And then it may or may not make him want to read the book, right? And so there's been a few times where it makes him read the book. So he reads the book, and now we have something more to talk about. So there's connection within the reader and the book, and then the people that you share it with.
Exactly.
Right?
That's exactly what we're doing right now.
Yeah. And then I can understand why people have book clubs, It's a great concept.
I mean, book clubs, any type of hobby that I believe has like a sense of community. This morning I was listening to an audiobook. I can't recall the name right now, but it was talking about how right now human connections are not that like common, because now we have this. So now we're more focusing on our work, and now individualism is rising. So people are thinking more about themselves and thinking about more how to be independent and how to not depend on other people to do their things and that type of stuff. But I believe that us as humans need a community, need to have a connection, need to have something to talk about with others, and have someone to talk about that. That's exactly why we started the podcast, because I wanted to give people that enjoy reading and a space to talk about it and share it with people that also enjoy it. So yes, definitely reading it can connect you to anyone that likes to read too, and even someone that doesn't.
Yeah, you might convince them.
Moving on to our next question. You mentioned before that you have many boxes of books in your garage.
Yes.
So what do you like to do with those books that you read?
I share them and I give them away.
Yeah.
I do. Yes, and exactly what you said earlier, where you think about someone who might like this particular book. I'm the book giver in my family. So when I have my family over, my nieces or my aunts, my cousins, then they ask me. They come shopping at my house. They ask me, any good book recommendations, and I think about what I still have in my garage. I'm like, hold that thought. Let me go to my garage, and I bring out a stack of books and I lay them on the table and I let them look through them, and they take them. Take them. So I give them away. I let people borrow them also, because some people, they want to give them back, So I've let, some people here at the school, Mr. Completo, a few other people, I recommend them books, Miss Cortez, my colleagues. Yes, I want to share the joy of this story, or people that I think might find a connection in that story. So I pass them along. That's what I do.
So good. That's really good. One, for the environment, and two, for the community. That's really good, because it is like passing your knowledge. It's like that phrase of sharing is caring.
Yeah, sharing is caring.
Sharing
Yes,
is caring.
it is.
So you expand the community of readers, and you also have that thing in common with someone, and you're giving them joy.
And I wait. I want to hear from them. Like, did they enjoy it? What did they think? And so I have to be patient, because not everyone reads fast, or not everyone is in the habit. They may be fast readers, but they're not in the habit of reading daily like the way I am. So I have to just wait, and then if they let me know that they enjoyed it, or or that they started it, I'm like, great, my job is done.
That is so cool. Yeah. Do you like write on your books?
So no, I used to. In college, I always used to write annotations in the book, because I was looking for something to analyze based on an assignment. So all of my college books are written inside with annotations or lots of Post-its. But anything beyond like a class assignment, then no, I don't write in them anymore.
Okay.
Sometimes I have bookmarkers, and if I want to go back to a place, even if I finish reading, if I want to just mark it, I'll just put a bookmark or a Post-it, but I don't write in them anymore.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I am the type of reader that puts a lot of Post-its.
Okay.
So if I wanted to keep some of my book, they will either have to take them away, or even like just go through the book and be like, oh, I can understand why she put this Post-it.
That note there. So I know that Kindle allows you to do the same thing. It's not the same. I've never tried it, but it does have a feature where you can underline, highlight, or make a note. I just don't use that feature.
So now that you mentioned your family, from what I can hear is that you have a community of readers in your own family.
Only one. Only my son is the only other like reader, like strong reader in the family. He really enjoys reading, and I noticed that he has also a type of book that he really enjoys. I don't think he realizes it yet, but I can see the type of books that he gravitates to. I have 2 daughters and I have a son. My daughters, they haven't found that love yet. They're not yet. So far, they're reading for the assignments. They have liked some books along the way that they selected for themselves, but they're not there yet where they're now exploring beyond the assignment. Well, they'll get there. They'll find their way. I try to influence my husband. I give him books, and he doesn't like, I'm not gonna say he doesn't find the time. He has the same amount of time as I do. We're both very, very busy, but his hobby is sports, watching sports. So when I'm reading, he could be reading too, but that's just he prefers to watch sports. So sometimes, and it's so funny, we're watching a football game or a baseball game, and I am reading at the same time, because I can do that, and he wonders how I can focus on both things, because a lot of people have a hard time, right, multitasking, especially when you're trying to read and understand what you're reading. But that's what we do.
So cute. That's like quality time.
Yeah, quality
both
time.
are doing the things that you
They
guys
enjoy.
love.
Yeah. That's
so
one way of
cool.
looking at it. That's good. Yeah, I didn't think about
So
it like that.
you don't influence, like you have influenced your kids to read too?
I mean, I try to. They see me. I'm setting a good example, but I'm waiting for them to follow. My son does more, like, but you know, they see me, so
Yeah, it is something that it has to grow in them.
yeah, it has to come naturally, and they have lots of available books in the house because I think a lot of the books that I have are also appropriate for them. So they have more than enough options. Whenever they're ready, the books are there.
Definitely having just like the idea that your mom reads and that if you need help with an assignment or you need to find a book, you can be like, hey mom, have you read this book? Can you tell me about this book? Or oh, I need to write this essay about a book that is blah blah blah. I feel like that's very supportive for them, and hopefully when they grow up, they will love it too.
Yeah, they'll appreciate it.
Hopefully. What other hobbies do you have besides reading?
Well, I do like to go walking around my neighborhood just to relax. Again, I'm usually listening to a book, but walking, it help, or exercising. I do enjoy running. And so anything that gets me outdoors or outside, you know, I do enjoy that. I go to the gym, you know, and I enjoy it. It sounds like boring, but I do enjoy it because I get to see, you know, some friends there, and you get to spend a little bit of alone time too. Yeah, so that's what I do besides reading.
Oh, that's so cool. And you can do both. You can still listen to it while exercising.
Yes.
That's so cool, Miss. Can you tell us more about your life as an assistant principal?
Sure. Let's see. Well, I began as a teacher. I was an English teacher.
And you did an English major.
Yes.
Oh, that makes sense.
I was an English major, English teacher. I was a counselor also, and then I became an assistant principal. And so in my job, I get to do a little bit of everything. I get to still be connected to instruction, like classroom instruction. I visit classrooms sometimes, you'll see me, or, you know, I work with the teachers, you know, supporting them whatever they need so they can be their best. And then I work with our counselors. I oversee the counseling department. And I work with them to make sure that, you know, everyone has the classes that they need or the supports they need to be successful. And then in my job as assistant principal, it's a lot of just making the school run. I mean, it sounds so basic, but what does the school need to run so that students can be students and teachers can be teachers and everyone can do their job? So like safety, you know, a lot of paperwork, a lot of meetings, and a lot of interacting with everybody here is important. Everybody at the school has an important role. Cafeteria, campus aides, you know, our parent volunteers, our librarian, our teacher, everybody. So we have to make sure that everyone is successful, basically. And so there's a lot of details that go into that. It's a lot of responsibility, and I take it very seriously. So, you know, if I'm with you and my door is closed and I want to make sure that I'm listening to you and that I'm hearing your concerns or your needs before I move on to the next thing. So I try to, you know, take the time to listen to everybody and to find out what is my role. How can I help you? How can I help you? How can I help you? How can I make sure that you are having a good experience here at ELC? So that's in a nutshell, that's my job. I'm simplifying it a little bit, but that's more or less what I do.
But you can tell how the books that you read and your purpose for reading and what you believe of the authors that you read also connects to your job, because it is like it reflects one another. You read books that let you know about other people's experience and makes you a very empathetic person, and you in your job have to relate to people and connect with people and talk with people and understand people. So it really connects, and it makes sense that you like books like that because it helps you, even if you don't notice, it helps you in your job.
Yeah, I guess so. I hadn't paid attention to that, but yes, I'm pretty sure there's no coincidence. You know.
Sadly, we have to wrap it up. I really enjoyed
me
talking
too.
with you.
Thank you.
I was so excited, but I was so nervous
Oh,
because
no.
I'm scared of authorities.
No.
I was like, I'm gonna talk with the assistant principal. But no, I have heard things very good about you. We also
thank
talked
you.
a little bit before. Mr. Completo also encouraged me to talk with you it's as soon as we started the podcast. So I'm very happy to have your episode already. So as our final question, what would you say to someone that doesn't like to read?
I think I would tell them to find the book that is meant for them. There's a book that's meant for you, and it opens your eyes to possibilities, whether it's the next book or something in your life that you know that can motivate you. So I think find your book.
Find your book. That's a very good sentence.
Yeah.
Find your book. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. This was great. Thank you.
I'm so happy to have you. Please keep reading. If you have any book that you would like to recommend, please tell me.
Will do. I will do. I'll create a list.
Yeah, that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.